prowess on the snooker table always used to be known as the product of a misspent youth. Did you have a wildly misspent youth?
Well, I must admit, when attending the Thomas Rawlins Grammar School at Quorn, I used to occasionally get off at the next stop after the school, which was Loughborough, and find myself in the Carlton billiard hall above Burton's, as in those days in the early 70s. That's where all the billiard halls were, always above Burton's. But I did tend to go to school in the afternoons, but used to sneak off in the mornings sometimes.
But snooker was a passion for you right from what age?
Oh, from the age of probably 10, 11, 12, 13, I started playing. My brother Malcolm had a small table, a 6 foot by 3 foot table for a Christmas present, which we used to have in the conservatory at the front of our house. So I used to play there, and then from the age of 14, my parents were then steward and stewardess at Anstey Conservative Club, which is a little village just outside of Leicester, where they had one snooker table. And so, of course, with my father being the steward, it meant that I could go into the club and consequently started playing on a full-size table.
Now, that's a slightly more respectable image than your actual average snooker hall in those days. The image of the game seems to have changed radically.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've gone away from the billiard hall image now. Is the fact that all most major towns, as people, in their own towns now, will see different snooker centres opening up all over everywhere. I've got one in Leicester and one in Hinckley, just in the process of doing one in Birmingham. But they're more for the family, for the ladies and things like that. It's fully carpeted. There's a lounge bar. They've got the television room, and they've got a restaurant part, rather than the spit and sawdust image of local billiard halls where people who weren't working used to just lie around on the seats or something. So it's a completely different image now.
But how did your parents, for instance, regard your passion for this game?
At that particular time there wasn't a lot of money in the game, and so at the age of 14, when I first started on a full-size table, it was just my mother and father's thing of, wouldn't it be nice if Willie was the best player in the club? It wasn't really until the age of 15 or 16 did I go down to the local billiard halls, but by that time, unbeknown to me, I was probably the best player in Leicester then, at 16, and when I went down to the billiard hall, it was kind of something I thought, well, goodness me, I'm the best in the town, rather than just the best in the local Conservative club.
I gather that, good player or no, they got a bit fed up with you in the Conservative club.
Well, when I first started in the Conservative club, it's amazing really, because I used to monopolise the table. People watching would know that when they go into these little clubs, they have the little slate blackboard up there where you put your initials on for a game. But of course, I used to love playing so much that after every other initial there'd be a WT there for Willie Thorne, you see. And of course the committee then found that I shouldn't be at 14 and 15 monopolising the table. So they had, called a meeting about me being on the table all the time, and they banned me from playing except between the hours of 10 and 11 in the morning and 6 and 7 at night. So they probably regret that a little bit now, because from that time I didn't play in the club anymore.
Did snooker totally dominate your life to the extent that you didn't do anything else? You didn't play out
No,
the games?
not at all. At school, I was very, very sporting. I have a county cap for playing cricket. I used to open the batting for the Leicestershire Colts, and played at the same time as Gower was around and people like that. Not in the same team. He wasn't around at that time. But I also played football at a very high level, and played a lot of basketball. But cricket was probably the sport that I was the best at. I played 4 or 5 county matches for the Colts, and still play a few pro celebrity matches now, but getting a little bit too fat to be running around the field, I think.
But you made international snooker level at the incredibly early age of 16. Had anyone else done that before?
Not at all. Unlike today, where the game has become so popular through colour television, at that particular time it was unheard of for somebody so young to be a good player. At the age of 6, I think it was almost 17 when I made my international debut. I think I played against Ireland. I can't remember the match now, but it caused quite a lot of press on that, because the average age of a snooker player at that time would be 30 plus, of the good players, and so people think I've been around such a long time. I've been a professional since '76, and even though I'm only 31, because I've been around such a long time, people tend to think that I'm late 40s or something.